Hey guys, Sazzle here, and we are going to go over a basic blending eye makeup tutorial. We are just going to do a super simple look with 3 or 4 colors, so that way you get the best and most use out of any palettes that you are currently seeing trending, seeing in the shops. Always start with an eyeshadow primer. That's going to get your look to last the longest. It'll prevent it from creasing. It'll also give you, if you're using a brighter color, the most vibrant color. Now, I have a fresh face, no makeup on, no concealer, nothing. So we're going to start with Decay Classic Original Formula. That's typically my go-to. And some of the things, as I'm putting this on, some of the things you're going to want to make sure you have nearby, it's going to be a couple different brushes. You don't need to spend a ton of money on brushes, especially if you're just starting out. That's what we'll be using today. And I'll put a link in the description box for you. So the first one we're going to be using is a really nice, really fluffy brush. This will be our blending brush. Then it's a really nice flat brush. That generally for adding color. Then we have a pencil tip brush that I like. And I am going to use the Jaclyn Hill collection. I'm going to start by putting your primer on. And the first thing you'll want to do as far as color-wise is you're going to want to put a base color on. Especially if you're blending, nothing will blend if nothing is there. So typically I'm going to go into, I'm going to show you. Okay. Depending on the look you're going will depend on where you go with this. Typically I'm going to go into Silk Cream. So I'm just going to dip in, get a little on my brush, tap the excess. One tip is the first place you put your brush on your lid is going to where the most color is. So you're just going to put this, I just typically will just put a really light, thin base layer over my whole lid. Like you cannot even barely tell it is there. That's how light and thin we're going to go with this. Again, you can't tell much of a difference, but it's there. It's going to give you a basis for blending. One thing I always keep handy is a nice rag, because as you're using the same brushes over and over, as you can see, I already cleaned some on there. You can just dust it off so that way you can dip into another color and you're not going to be messing up your palette, transferring color, especially if you used a dark color. You don't want to go back in and add more of that color. So, all right, next we're going to just use we'll just do a neutral color today. Let's go with, what is this one? Pooter. We're going to go with Pooter, which is just slightly darker, a little taupe right there. I believe that's what it's called. I was looking at it upside down. And we're just going to take this in circular motions right in the crease. And again, it's not adding a lot of color all at once because you can always add more. But it's very difficult to take away without starting over. Okay. Next, I'm going to pick up my flat brush. And I'm going to go into, so I just put just a smidge on my brush. And I'm going to go right into my crease at the top. And I'm going to make a little triangle coming from the bottom, from the lash line. Okay. And then I'm going to pull in just a little bit. I've not added any extra. Again, just dab in. So this is a nice starting point for a daytime smoky eye. You can go halo with this. You can do a cut crease with it. This is just a really neutral, easy look to start with. Now I'm going to come in with my blender brush, and I'm not going any further out. I put it at the outermost point, and I'm bringing it towards the center of my eye. Just to blend that just a little bit. It's more of a wiggle than anything. Next, I'm going to dip into the color right next door. This one right here is Obsession. We're just going to use that same brush again, that flat brush. And this one I'm going to take right in the middle of my eye. So with this, I pat and I'm pulling it towards the darker section. Because what I'm going to go for is very light, a lighter, brighter color in the inner corner. I'm going to come in with that same blender brush. I am going to give it a little bit of a clean. Probably should have used a white towel. Doesn't look cute. Okay. And with this one, I'm just going to blend towards the outer corner, not going very far at all into it. I'm never pulling from the dark to the light. I'm pulling from the lighter into the dark, lighter into the dark, because we don't want to spread that darker color out towards the center any further. I'm going to use my pencil tip or pen tip brush. I'm going to go for a brighter color just because that's what I personally like, is to use a brighter color on the inner corners. And I'm going to go right into, what is this one? Beam, right here. And I actually gave you completely the wrong names for those other ones. Pooter was correct. The other ones I used was Buns and Creme Apple, it looks like. I'm so sorry. But I'll put the correct colors in the description box. And again, I'm just going to dab. And we're going to pull from the light into the dark as well. Now, if you want the brighter color to start to look brighter, go ahead and put a little bit of concealer underneath that color, and that'll highlight it more. Now, this one is a color I do use for my inner corners and up the top, so. All right. Again, we're going to clean the brush, our blender brush. We're going to start at the inner corner and pull towards the center, and you'll see how that blends it. And if it blends it more than you would have liked, you can dip in with your blender brush and add just a little bit more of that color. Now this is a color I will use for my inner corners, so I don't mind if it gets there because we're highlighting and that's okay. For my upper lid, because we've got the lower lid nice and blended, I'm going to go back into this first color I used, Silk Cream. And I'm going to start at the inner corner and go out and blend that right up to my eyebrow line. So, now this color does blend nicely with my skin tone, which is why I typically will dip into it. So if it does not blend nicely into your skin tone, you may not want to use that one unless that's a look you're going for. Typically, I will do this look. I have a mirror below my camera. I will do this because this way I can see my full lid. I'm not trying to show you my nostrils. My full lid without having to close my eyes, and I can check if they're even and blended nicely. Now, if you are going to highlight your arch, you're going to dip into the same color you used here on the inner corner. Ooh, make sure your eyes are all the way closed. And you're just going to hit that high arch. Just like that. And again, you can hit that right in your inner corner as well. And that's just going to open up your eyes. Now, if you are going to do your inner corners, you're going to want to make sure your concealer is done before you do too much in that, if you have dark circles like I do, because my dark circles do carry. All right, and that's it. So we used, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. Super simple for a really easy light look. It didn't take terribly long. And this is a basic everyday. I'm running to Target, not Walmart. If we go to Walmart, we don't put makeup on. We know this. Basic, go to Target, you know, work in a very conservative office. This is just a really conservative look. You can easily amp it up and smoke it out darker for a nighttime look. So you have a lot of options of where you can go with this and play with colors and things like that. So this is just a super simple, basic daytime neutral look. So I hope that helps you guys. Heather, I'm giving you a shout out. I hope this helps. If not, let me know if there's anything I glossed over or you need help with. So stay tuned. Again, there is a list in the description box and links for what I've used today. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you. Bye, guys.